Welcome to Varsity. I am Bob Pryzbylo. Joining me today is Scott Wright. Week 1 is in the book. Scott, what stood out the most to you?
You know, the first week you never know really what to expect, but there were a lot of upsets. I think at least they appear as upsets at this point in the season. Teams like Tuttle going down to Cache in week 1. Tuttle was number 2, obviously, in that class. Norman beats Norman North in a rivalry game. Putnam City over Putnam City North. There were a lot of games like that. Garber, the 2-time defending champs in Class B, get routed by Covington Douglas. So, when we get to the end of the season, we might look back and say these weren't as big upsets as they feel like right now, but that was kind of some of the surprising things. Cassia Hall, another one, a 41-game winning streak, and they lose in the opener.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, week 1, you never really know what to expect. And what I take from week 1 is the statement that Guthrie made against Duncan. There were a couple games where maybe we thought, this team would win, but we never expected the margin of victory. And the Blue Jays were sensational in winning 25-0. Brian Dutton, a sophomore quarterback that is definitely a name to watch. And Kentrell Brothers, I don't know what else you can say about him. He scored 3 touchdowns in the first half. This, in my opinion, this was 3 versus 4 in 5A, and it was 25-0, and it wasn't even that close. And now, Scott, moving on to this week, what are you looking for?
It's time for some bounce backs from some of those teams that did lose. I'll be out at Mustang and Putnam City North, 2 teams who lost rivalry games and are trying to come back from those games. One of the more interesting games I think that's out there this week. Obviously, Tulsa Union and Jinx is the biggest game of the week. But in this area, I think the Soul Bowl, Millwood and Douglas at Douglas on Saturday is a huge game. You're looking at Douglas, a team with a really good defense. Millwood, that amazing offense that they've got. I think it's going to be just a clash of strengths. That it's going to be a lot of fun.
Week 1 is generally considered the rivalry week, but there's a lot of good ones in this week as well with Chakotah and Eufaula. That's one that goes way back. You got Jenks and Union, of course, Davis and Sulphur. And I'm interested to see how teams respond emotionally from a tough week 1 going to week 2 against a big rival. And now, Scott, let's talk about our locks of the week.
Well, you mentioned rivalry games, and I look at a game like Lawton MacArthur and Lawton down there at Cameron Stadium. I think is a really good matchup. I think MacArthur pulls this one out. I saw them at Mustang a couple of weeks ago in a scrimmage. Dylan Warner at quarterback. Rashad Foreman wants to be back this week if he can from that high ankle sprain. But even if he's not, that team's got a lot of offensive weapons. Really solid on defense too. I think that the 5A Highlanders pull off the upset in this one. Well, upset in terms of going against a really good team in 6A, moving up a class. But I think they pull this one out.
That's very interesting because the entire summer I've said that Lawton is the best team on this side of the state, and it may turn out they're not even the best team in its own city.
Right.
For my lock, I'm taking a very controversial one. I'm going to go Heritage Hall over Clinton. I think this game is going to be sensational, but I loved what I saw from the Chargers last week. With a healthy Sterling Shepard, a healthy Quintez Struble, you add that with Barry Sanders and the senior leadership of Cooper Cloud. They beat their rival Cassidy at Cassidy, really made a statement. Now you come home. I know Clinton's a great team. I'm not taking anything away from them. They made their own statement against Weatherford, but I like the Chargers in this one. And Scott, finally, just let readers know where you're going to be this weekend.
Well, a busy weekend, obviously, with adding in the Saturday game. But Thursday night, I'll be back checking on the UConn Millers at Edmond Santa Fe, coming off that big win that the Millers had over Mustang. On Friday, as I said, Mustang, where Putnam City North comes to try to bounce back from their loss, and then the Soul Bowl on Saturday out at Douglas at 1 o'clock.
Yep. Thursday, you can catch me at Norman for Dell City and Norman North. Friday, it's the Battle of the Bishops, and Kelly comes to McGinnis. And then I'll be joining Scott on Saturday at Moses Miller Stadium for Douglas and Millwood. Scott, appreciate you joining us. That's all the time we have for this week. Catch us next week. And check us out every day at newsok.com/varsity for the best high school coverage anywhere.